Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshav Anand Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Srimad Bhagavatam, verses 4.12.47 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving your assistance, Prabhuji. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So this is 4.12.47, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji, 4.12.47.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So let me just start now. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 12th chapter, 47th verse. So just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So I'm here. I think my voice is audible to everybody. There's no problem in that?
Yes, Prabhu, it is good for me.
Fine. Yeah, so this is 4th Canto, 12th chapter, 47th verse. We are reading this verse. Let me just offer invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. I don't know, I mean to say how long we'll be with Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj is with us. We are with him or he is with us. So this is Mahatvam Ichhatam Tirtham Shrotuhu Shir Adayo Gunaha Yatra Tejas Tat Ichhunam Mano Yatra Manasvinam. So anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him. For anyone who desires greatness, prowess or influence, here is a process by which to acquire them. For thoughtful men who want adoration, here is a proper means. It's a beautiful verse. Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the material world, everyone is after profit, respectability and reputation. Everyone wants a supreme exalted position. Everyone wants to hear about the great qualities of exalted persons. All ambitions which are desirable for great persons can be fulfilled simply by reading and understanding the narration of Dhruva Maharaj activities. So we are discussing about Dhruva Maharaj. Let me just offer obeisances. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. We are back to Dhruva. And the verse says, Mahatvam Ichhatam Tirtham Shrotu Shilataya Guna Yatra Tejas Tad Ichhunam Mano Yatra Manasvinam. Anyone who hears this narration of Dhruva Maharaj acquires exalted qualities like him, qualities like Shiladaya Gunaha. For anyone who desires greatness, that is Tejas, the word uses Tejas. Prowess or influence, and of course Prabhupada is writing Tejas as like that, and also Mana means adoration. For thoughtful men who want adoration, here's a proper means. Now this is an interesting verse because I mean, the Srimad Bhagavatam is offering some material benefits. That's the point there. And this is not an unusual phenomena because in Gajendra Moksha, if you read that, so if you read Gajendra Moksha, there in the end, again Srimad Bhagavatam offers Phala Shruti. This is called Phala Shruti. What is the result of reading this particular episode? In Gajendra Moksha, it says that Gajendra, so anyone who reads that Gajendra prayers, he will not get bad dreams. That's a Phala Shruti of Gajendra Moksha. And here, this is the Phala Shruti. Anyone who hears the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, okay, let us hear narration of Dhruva Maharaj. Natural question is, what do you get by hearing narration of Dhruva Maharaj? For devotees, the obvious answer is love of God. But then Sukadeva Goswami says something else. and he says he's acquired exalted qualities like him, like greatness, prowess, adoration. And interestingly, Sukadeva Goswami writes, here is a proper means. So that's very interesting. Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada writes, all ambitions which are desirable for great persons can be fulfilled simply by reading and understanding narration of the Maharaj activities. And the whole point is why Sukadeva Goswami is saying like that. This is the same person who actually writes in the first canto, who says, ahituki apratihata, who says devotion should be without any cause. And this is the same person, Sukadeva Goswami, who has been focusing on absolute pure devotion, uncompromising pure devotion. He also criticized demigods, and I meant to say he didn't really criticize demigods in Srimad Bhagavatam. He really criticized them heavily. He says, I think in second or third canto, he says, who is going to worship that ugly form of Durga, which is Kali, a horrible form? And then he says about Ganesh, who is going to worship that? Those demigods who are very funny, like Ganesh. He's having face of an elephant. So this is the same person, Sukadeva Goswami, who is absolutely renounced, who left his home as soon as he was born. He had nothing to do with anything material. Absolutely nothing. Zero. Even less than zero. That's Sukadeva Goswami. And that same person, he's saying, if you read Dhruva Maharaj incidents, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is, if you desire fame and prowess and adoration, read Dhruva Maharaj. Now what's happening? What's happening? Right? Sukadeva Goswami has gone crazy, or he's playing some trick on us, or he's trying to deceive us, or trying to confuse us. What's happening here? And this is not happening the first time. I told this is happening again and again in Bhagavatam. In Gajendra Moksha, the Falashrutis, you'll not get bad dreams. And then if you read Kashyap Muni, and then Dipayo Vrat in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another Falashruti that you will get name and fame. And if you read Kaliya incidents, Sukadeva Goswami says, if you remember that incidents, you will overcome fear of snakes. So like that, you see the point. There are so many Falashrutis there. Now what's happening? How do we explain all these things? That's the whole question there. How do we explain all these things? So that's the point. Now this is this is confusing. This is very confusing. What to do now? The only explanation for all these things is there's one explanation for all these things. Why Sukadeva Goswami is acting in a weird way. Now the whole point is, you see the point. These Falashrutis, of course, I mean to say, in other Puranas also Falashruti is given. So in fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, this technique of giving Falashruti and giving material desires and benefits, that's not so explicit. I mean, it is explicit, but it's not much. But if you read other Puranas, after every prayer, every stuti, there is, okay, you chant this, you get a child, you do this, you get this wealth, you do this. After every stuti, it's happening. So one thing is, Puranas offer this Falashruti to attract ordinary people to the message. And in fact, when Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, it begins, Narad Muni comes and raises this whole question to Vyasadeva, this whole contention to Vyasadeva. And he said, why did you do this, by the way? Why did you offer these material benefits in Puranas? Because if you offer these material benefits in Puranas, then what happens is people get confused, people get involved, people get entangled in these material benefits, and then they are diverted and they get distracted from the message. So that's the whole point there. They get distracted from the message. Now, and Narada Muni said, well, you should not have done this because in Kali Yuga, people will be more interested in Falashruti than the message. Already there are so many desires, first of all. And they'll be distracted and they will never take pure message. So you were thinking that in the garb of giving this Falashruti, this material desire, offering these material desires, they might be attracted towards the message, but it will not happen. It will just happen the reverse. People will forget the message and people will take your desires, and even if they take the message, they will do it mechanically. To actually get those desires, their whole intention will be wrong. So you should write a book where it is pure, where there is no material desire. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. Amala Puran. That's what the Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. We know this. We know this. So what's happening? But then now we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and here this is Falashruti. What's happening? Maybe Vyasadeva is he gone mad, or he has forgotten instructions of his guru, or maybe Sukadeva Goswami, he has gone mad. What's happening? The whole point is Srimad Bhagavatam is a very complex book. That's one thing. Of course, I mean to say Vyasadeva or Sukadeva Goswami will not dare to offer Falashruti, especially when this thing happened. So he's not going to offer these kind of things when especially in first canto this whole big incidents happened, and Narad Muni he criticized Vyasadeva. So he criticized Vyasadeva, and that's why he wrote Bhagavatam, and again he'll not do the same mistake. But the whole point there is in Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read, actually you see Srimad Bhagavatam has no material contamination, but this statement has to be understood properly because Sukadeva Goswami is doing something more drastic, even more drastic than this, because if you read 12th canto, what is happening is in 12th canto, Sukadeva Goswami, in the end, he is speaking Mayavad. Now, that's interesting because right in the end he says that ultimately the aim of life is to become one with the Supreme Absolute. And he offers jnana, and he offers process of jnana to Sukadeva Goswami. So we should understand Vedanta Sutra and all these, and that's the supreme process. And there in the commentary, Acharyas commented, why is he doing like that? So, and that answer will also answer this question, why he's doing like this, while he's offering material desires, and he's offering Falashruti. Why is he doing like this? So there, Sukadeva Goswami says, well, you know what, he says to Parikshit, ultimately everything is one, and ultimately jnana is a supreme process. He says all these things. But then the Acharyas comment, why he's doing, actually he's doing to test Parikshit. Now he had offered Parikshit supreme, unalloyed, absolute devotion to Supreme Lord. Absolutely with no material motive. I mean to say, he told Parikshit, even devotion done for oneself, that is also a dharma. To that extent Srimad Bhagavatam goes. Even doing devotion for one's own ecstasy, for one's own peace, that is irreligious, that is punishable. To that extent Bhagavatam goes. And in the end, Sukadeva Swami offers Mayavad, and here he offers Mechkala Shruti. Now, what's happening is Sukadeva Swami is testing Parikshit, and also testing all others who are in the audience. In the audience, there are so many jnanis and karmis and so many pure rishis also. I mean to say there were. So I forgot how many rishis were there. So when Sutta Goswami is speaking to Shaunak Rishi, I think 88,000 rishis something. And when Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Parikshit, there were also many rishis, we know. So Vyasadev came, Narad Muni came. There's so many people there. So he is testing. That's the whole point there. By offering material desires, by offering Mayavad, he's testing. He's testing them. He's testing us. What do we take now? Why he's testing? That's the whole question. Why he's doing this? Why he's playing this game? The whole point I want to bring is Srimad Bhagavatam is not offering something wrong, some material desire. Because if you say Srimad Bhagavatam is offering a material desire, then the whole point there is that Srimad Bhagavatam that Srimad Bhagavatam is wrong. If you say Bhagavatam is offering material desires or Mayavad, then right at the outset it's a contradiction, because in the beginning Bhagavatam, one of the names of Bhagavatam is Amala Puran. There is no material contamination. That's the whole point there. There's no material contamination. So then there's no material contamination. Then what's this? So now we have explanation. What's this? This Sukadeva Goswami is not offering. He's not offering. He is testing. Just like you test a child. Okay? You give the child the whole instructions, entire instructions, and everything. And then you tell the child, my dear child, now you have learned how to control your senses. You give a whole 6-month seminar to a kid, to a 10-year-old kid for sense control. And after that, then you tell them, well, now the reward is pastries, pizzas, McDonald's, and a trip to Hollywood. Then, so if he chooses that, he says, wow, so I got a seminar on sense control for 6 months, and now I have a reward. I have to go to Hollywood, and I will have pizza and pastries, and I will go to Disney World and Hollywood. Oh, great. So he has failed. He didn't understand any damn thing in those 6 months. That's the whole point. So that's the style of great people. You see, that's the whole point. That's the style of great people. Ordinary teachers, they give instructions and go. But great people, they take tests. They give tests to actually know where the disciple is. And the test will make the message strong. Because those who fail in the test, they will fail. But those who pass, they will be an evidence to the fact that this message is free of any material desires. They didn't opt for this. In spite of reading this Falashruti, pure devotees will not opt for this. And this will make the message of Bhagavatam strong. And there will be evidence, well, Srimad Bhagavatam is absolutely pure. The message is so pure that even after offering Falashruti, material desires, or Mayavad in 12th canto, by Bhagavatam itself, still they didn't adopt. How much pure the message should be. Now that's the whole point. If a teacher teaches you something, if a teacher teaches you something, and then after the whole whole your learning. Teacher says, well, just forget it, it's of no use. Then what does that mean? If so if you tell to the teacher, well, teacher, well, you say just leave it, but what I have learned from you, I think that is indispensable for life. You cannot lead your life without this message. So, well, I can't leave this. And the teacher will be very happy. And the same thing happened with Krishna and gopis. Krishna played on the flute. And what happened? Gopis came in the dead of night. And then what happened was, gopis came in the night, and then Krishna said, my dear gopis, please go back, because your dharma is to serve your husbands. What the hell you are doing in this dead of night? Actually, he said like that. I mean to say, he didn't use the word hell. But he said in a tone, he said in a serious tone. It was not joking. He said, what are you doing here? And Gopi said, well, you called us. So he said, yeah, I called you, and now you have seen me, or you have met me, now you go back, because your duty is to serve your husbands also. And especially in this dead of night, there are so many dangerous animals, and you can't stay here for long. And you are from good families. He gave them all logic. And he said, you go back, that is my desire. At least externally he said like that. And what did gopis do? Gopis said, well, you're not going back. You're denying your orders. Now Krishna became happy, because his internal desire was that they should stay with them. But Krishna was testing them. You see the point there? Krishna was testing gopis, who are pure devotees, who are, I mean to say, you cannot question the purity of gopis. Gopis are the highest devotees. I mean to say, so if you read Srimad, so if you read Brihad Bhagavatam, there are Dwarkavasis who are devotees. Above Dwarkavasis are Uddhav. So first we have ordinary devotees. Above ordinary devotees, there are rishis. Above rishis, there are Pandavas. Above Pandavas, there are Mathuravasis. Above Mathuravasis, there are Dwarkavasis. Above Dwarkavasis, Uddhav. Above Uddhav, gopis. Above Uddhav, Vrajvasis. Above Vrajvasis, gopis. And above gopis is Radharani, special gopis, and they were there. And Krishna says, go back. Krishna is testing them. When Krishna is testing them, then who is anyone else? Krishna likes to test. That's the whole point. And he will test. Not to tease you, not to actually make fun of you, but to make your devotion stronger. And through you, give an example to others that the message is so strong that even after offering so many materialistic things, they don't adopt those materialistic desires. This is how they glorify bhakti. Now, by offering this Falashruti, Sukadeva Goswami is glorifying bhakti, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why we started. Sukadeva Goswami says, Bhagavatam is Amala Puran. There is no contamination whatsoever. And what's happening here? Sukadeva Goswami, it's not contamination. He's glorifying bhakti by offering everybody in Bhagavatam. Okay, if you read Dhruva Maharaj, then you will get prowess, then you will get reputation, then you will get adoration. Actually, this is the best way to do that. He says that. This is interesting. He says, here is a proper means. Here is a proper means to be famous, to get adoration, to get prowess, to get profit and respectability. Is a proper means, and this is nothing but a test. And why is testing? Because Sukadeva Goswami is confident. He is confident that by this time, anybody who has heard first canto, second canto, third canto, fourth, we are on fourth canto. Anybody who has heard that with rapt attention, Shushrubita Takshanat, anybody who has heard and meditated and applied this message in his soul and imbibed this message of pure bhakti, he is not going to opt this. And by not opting for this, he will actually glorify the power of devotion. And the speaker will also glorify the power of devotion, in the sense the speaker will get convinced that what he conveyed was conveyed. What he conveyed was really conveyed. That's the whole idea there. So that's the power. That's the power. So that's how it goes. You see the point. Srimad Bhagavatam is very complex. You see the point there. So sometimes we read something, but the whole message is something else. Now, how do you understand all these things? That's why we need parampara. Otherwise, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll definitely get confused, and definitely after reading the Dhruva Maharaj story, we'll start desiring this. But every line, every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is just glorifying Krishna in devotion. So that's the first point through this verse we have to remember. What you see, so it is generally said, don't believe your eyes. That's all. Sometimes what you see, that is not truth. Sometimes what you don't see, that's the truth. And most of the time it's like that. Looks are deceiving, isn't it? That's said. You get confused. Maya is like that. So that's the first thing of this verse. That's the first thing. A devotee doesn't want greatness or desire. Mahattat. So the word used for greatness is mahatvam, and then shiladaya guna, good qualities. But that's okay. Good qualities is okay. But teja means power, like a king. And then mana means adoration. Devotee doesn't want anything of them. And by this time, any devotee is going to read this verse. Either he will not opt for this, or at least he will get, or he should get confused why Sukdev is speaking like that. If that confusion is not coming, then this means you have not understood Bhagavatam, a least of it. Then this means you're hearing but not hearing, you're seeing but not seeing. That's all. And that means you have failed in the test. That means you're not in pure devotion. At least by reading this verse, a tremendous amount of confusion should come. At least by reading this verse, you should actually lose your sleep and hunger. And that's Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam will take you beyond the modes of material nature, isn't it? By giving you the message or by confusing you. But it will take you more beyond the modes of material nature. Even if the concept is not clear why he's speaking this. So if the concept is clear, anyway, if you don't opt for this and you say, well, Sukdev Goswami is saying this, but I'm not going to opt for this. Even if Sukdev Goswami says this, I'm not going to opt for this because I've understood the message. That means you are on pure devotion, and that means you're beyond modes. Now, like Krishna, even if Krishna says go back, I'm not going to go back. Gopi says this because they know that the whole message is to be with Krishna, and they're not confused. So, but if you're confused by reading this, that's a good sign, and that will also keep you awake at night. If you're really confused, if you're really reading Bhagavatam, you should get confused and you should keep awake at night, and then also you'll go beyond modes of nature. So you see, the message of Bhagavatam is absolutely pure. So that's one point we have to keep in mind when we are reading this verse or this kind of verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, another point in Srimad Bhagavatam is through this verse what we hear is now I'm going to give a different perspective on this verse. Now we are going in a different direction altogether. That point is over. That first point is over. That is one perspective on this verse. So now I'm going to deroot, and I'm going to give you another very different perspective on this verse. Another perspective is, if you read Dhruva Maharaj Katha, you will get many things. So what? So for that we might have to translate this verse into a little different way. But the whole point is, Sukadeva Goswami says, okay, if you read this katha, you will develop good qualities. At least that's pretty clear and pretty understandable. Shiladayo gunaha. That's pretty clear. Shil means behavior. Adayo means etc. and guna means qualities. You will automatically get good behavior and good qualities. Now, that's pretty clear. But the question here is how? How by simply reading a story we will develop good qualities? That's the whole question. How by simply reading history, some story which happened thousands of years back, sorry for that, you get good qualities. How do you do that? Now that question has to be figured out. Otherwise, even though we'll keep on reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha or any Katha, we will never develop good qualities. Because we don't know how. Well, you might say, okay, even if you don't know how you will get good qualities by reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha, simply keep on reading and you will get it. You don't have to understand. But that's the whole point there. If you don't understand how this is going to happen, then you will be attached to the story only. And Krishna says, Tauna vashamagachet. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't be trapped in rules and regulations. Even rules and regulations are a trap. If illusion is a trap, and what's the solution to come out of illusion? Follow rules and regulations of scriptures. But then without understanding the purpose of following rules and regulations, even rules and regulations are a trap. And that Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami says, Niyamagraha. It's a trap. So, if you don't understand how reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha we get Shiladaya Guna, good qualities, it's a trap actually. You can keep on reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha. It will be a story. Nothing is going to happen. You will not get any good quality. Nothing is going to happen. I mean to say, even kids can keep on reading Dhruva Maharaj story. They have these kid books, isn't it? And they also have this painting pictures, Dhruva Maharaj and all these, and they paint. But nothing happens. They are the same kids. So, question is how, by reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha, we develop good qualities. Or any other story in Srimad Bhagavatam, we develop good qualities. How does it happen? Now the whole thing is, how does it happen? Now, how? The answer is pretty straightforward and simple, but pretty deep. And what happens is, if you read Dhruva Maharaj Katha over and over and over again, or Prahlad Maharaj or whatever, but it's not the point of reading, that's the whole point. Because here it says, anyone who hears, Shrotu means hearing. Shrotu means hearing. Anybody who hears. Now, when you use this word Shrotu or hear in Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing, that means listening. So when this word Shrotu is used, this word is linked with two other words, automatically, immediately in Upanishads. And Prabhupada comments on it in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also. That is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. That's there in Upanishads, directly from Upanishads, Chandogya Upanishads. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So, Shravanam is not complete. Hearing is not complete without meditation on what you hear. And meditation is not complete without applying practically on what you meditate. So that is Shravana means hearing, Mananam means meditating, and Nididhyasana means practical application. So until unless you don't apply what you hear, it is as good as not hearing. You hear but not hear. You see but not see. That's the whole point there. It's like you sow a seed of a tree and you get a tree, but you don't get fruits. So then what's the point of the tree? Or it's like you keep a cow which doesn't give any milk. So what's the point of keeping a cow? The whole point is milk. One of the main things. So similarly here, you keep on reading Dhruva Maharaj Katha, but you don't get any good qualities. What's the point? Or similarly, you keep on hearing, but you don't meditate on what you hear, and you don't practically apply. And what's the point? So what you hear, you have to meditate on that. And what do you have to meditate? You have to meditate how to apply in my life what Dhruva is doing. What Dhruva is doing, we have to do the same thing. I mean to say, of course, in a capacity, we can't stop our breathing or eating. But whatever else Dhruva is doing, to the maximum extent, he's focusing his mind on God. Okay, we have to. And that focus is absolute focus. And that we have to try to achieve at our level, of course, by the process given by a parampara. And of course, Dhruva Maharaj has conquered his eating and sleeping. Okay, let's try that. Let's save time. Dhruva Maharaj is also focused on dharma. Let's try to do that. Dhruva Maharaj is also practicing pure devotion. Yeah, let's do that. So if you read Dhruva Maharaj Katha, there are so many good qualities: determination, enthusiasm, sacrifice, service, and so many other good qualities. As a king, he ruled the kingdom. So there are so many good qualities of a leader. And Dhruva Maharaj or Prithu Maharaj or any other king, Ambarish, and if we keep on reading them, and if we meditate how to apply those qualities in our life, I mean, so how to apply those qualities in a practical life. That's the whole point. Practical life is very different, but then you have to figure out how to apply those qualities in your life. Another person has to figure out how to apply qualities in his life. Okay, so one of the quality is being merciful and to give charity, at least householders. Okay, fine. So then you have to meditate. Okay, scripture says give charity, householders should give charity. But then how to do that in your life? If your income is less, then how to do that? If your income is more, then how to do that? How much to save? How much not to save? What are the practical ramifications of that? When to give charity in your life and to whom? That's what you have to figure out. That's called meditation. And then practically do it. Go ahead and do it. That's the result. And then when you start doing what they are doing, then you get good qualities. Now that's the whole point. So here Shrotu doesn't mean hearing. That's the point I am trying to bring. It doesn't mean simply hearing and sitting and doing nothing. No, you have to do what he's doing in your capacity. Like Prabhupada said, do what? Do as I am doing. Prabhupada said, do as I am doing. Why did he say that? He said, do as I am doing, then you will become like me. Then you will become pure devotee like me. So Prabhupada didn't say, just keep on hearing and you'll become like me. Prabhupada said, do as I'm doing. And then Prabhupada says, give me results. I am giving you results. What about results then? So that's the whole point. Here Shrotu, the whole point I'm bringing is, here Shrotu, it doesn't mean simply hearing. The whole thing in hearing, within that hearing is application, is doing. So we have to read Dhruva Maharaj Katha and we have to try to do what he's doing in our capacity. That's the most important point. You can't stop eating and breathing. Of course, you can't even do that, even if you think to do that. But that's the whole point. So when you start doing, so if you hear Ramayana, so if you're hearing Ramayana, then you will automatically get good qualities of Ram. How? Because so you have to read his qualities, you have to meditate on it, and then you have to apply those qualities in your life. You have to do as Ram is doing. and then you'll become like him. That's all. Simple. It's simple. That happens in this material world. Come on. I mean to say, if you start imitating like Sachin Tendulkar, then you might become Sachin Tendulkar. You start playing like him and you start practicing like him, not just imitating, but practicing like him, and then there's a possibility you can become like him. But if you simply watch all his matches and hear about him, then you will never become like him. Yeah, we have to do as he is doing. So that's the whole point. That's the point in Shrotu. That's what Prabhupada says, hearing. Anytime we hear this word hearing, Shrotu, Shravanam, immediately the point of action should come in our mind. You have to do what you're hearing, and then things will work out. Otherwise, nothing's going to work out. So if you start doing what Dhruva is doing after due consideration of your own caliber and also your own practical life, then you will get Shila Adaya Gunaha. Then you will get all good qualities and perfect behavior of a devotee, just like Dhruva. So that's one thing. That's what Sukadeva Goswami promises in this verse. Now, other things which he promises that can be reinterpreted. For example, he says you will get Teja. Teja means prowess. Now, for a devotee, prowess, Teja means a fire of devotion. For a devotee, that means. So sometimes you see Srimad Bhagavatam by these kind of verses. Sukadeva Goswami is not just only testing, but he's all, but in the garb of the test, he's also giving a cryptic message, which is called as Parokshavad, a cryptic message, which if you decode, then you will get the right message. So in that sense, because you say Sukadeva Goswami is testing, that's fine. Through this test, he's also glorifying devotion. At the same time, when great people speak, they speak on many levels, many different levels. And if you read commentaries of acharyas, one verse has many meanings, many layers of. So in a sense, Sukadeva Goswami didn't speak a lie when he's speaking. Well, if you read Dhruva Maharaj Katha, then you will get prowess and this and that and that. He's not cheating, and he's not just testing. He's also speaking eternal truth, because Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal truth. And what's the eternal truth in this verse? For that you have to reinterpret these words. And Teja means, so if you read scriptures, if you read commentaries, Teja means prowess, Teja means the fire. Tej means fire. That's one of the meanings. That means fire of devotion. If you is all about fire of devotion. His absolute enthusiasm, his unwavering devotion and determination, and his irresolute focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's unimaginably. That's actually admirable, beyond all limits. So that is Dhruva Maharaj, and that is Teja. He had Teja, he had the fire of devotion. That's why he could do what he did, especially at the age of 5 years. So we will get that fire of devotion. Of course, anybody who reads Dhruva Maharaj Katha, he will say, come on, from today I will simply meditate on Lord Krishna. I will stop eating and sleeping to whatever extent I can, but I will follow the footsteps of Dhruva. If that's not happening with you, well, my dear devotees, let me speak like that, a speech, my dear brothers and sisters, then you are not reading Bhagavatam, that's all. You're not doing anything. Because the whole point is to inspire you, isn't it? To help you become like them. That's the whole point of Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, what's the point? If you're the same person after reading Bhagavatam, what is the whole point? Anything. And Sukadeva Goswami says in 12th canto, by the way, Sukadeva Goswami says, my dear Parikshit, I've told you many stories, but the point is not to tell you the stories. The point is to give you the message through the stories which can change your life. And there's no change, then what's the point? So that is what, if we read Dhruva Maharaj Katha, you'll get Teja, you'll get fire of devotion. Fire here means determination, enthusiasm, irresolute focus, unwavering determination, dhruva, stability in devotion. All these things. And then Sukadeva Goswami says, Mano, you will also get respect. You'll get respect. Now what's the meaning of this? You'll get respect. The whole point is, when you read this whole incidence of Dhruva and Vishnu involved with it, you will start respecting devotees of Lord. This is devotee. This is the standard of devotion. Dhruva. This is the standard of devotion. What the heck devotion we are doing? That kind of sentiment should come in your heart. That's what is intended by these stories. What the hell I'm doing? This is devotion, and I give all respect to Dhruva and his devotion. And when you develop this respect for devotees of Lord and the master of the devotees, then whole world will give you respect. You see, if you give respect to God, everybody gives you respect. If you don't give respect to God, nobody gives you respect. It's as simple as that. What you give to Krishna, people will give to you. That's the law of this material world. So, what you give to others, they will give you back. That's the law, isn't it? And if that's a law, then whatever you give to Krishna, others will give back to you, because Krishna is the self of self, of all selves. So that's the law there. If you give respect to Krishna, everybody will respect you. And the day you lose respect for him, nobody's going to respect you. And that's common sense. To say, we are devotees, isn't it? We are devotees and everybody respects us. But who we are nonsense crap. But then people give respect. Why? Us respect because why? Because we give respect. We try to give respect to Krishna. We are connected to him. So people respect us, isn't it? So whatever respect we are getting, that's because we are giving respect to Krishna. We are getting more respect than what we are giving to Krishna. That's how merciful Krishna is. That is mana. You will get this respect. How will you get this respect? I've just explained the mechanics of it. And then you will also get Mahatma. Mahatma means greatness or prowess. Actually, greatness. You will get greatness. Greatness in what? Greatness in your sentiments of devotion. Greatness in sentiments of devotion. You will become a great lover of God. That's the whole idea. If you read Dhruva, you will become the great lover. Yeah, we want to become the great lover of God. But that's difficult. Maybe in this life, I don't know, but we want to become great lovers of God. And that you will become if you hear Dhruva Maharaj, and if you meditate, and if you try to apply, and if you try to do what he's doing, you will become great lover of God. That's greatness. So Sukadeva Goswami is not speaking a lie in one sense. He is giving a cryptic message, and by that cryptic message, he gives a pure message. At the same time, he tests Parikshit. And by testing Parikshit, he glorifies devotion. So through this he is giving a message of devotion, and at the same time he is glorifying devotion. Same time he is glorifying devotees, because Parikshit will not opt for this. He will never opt for this. He will say, Sukadeva Goswami, you are saying this, but I am going to opt for this. In fact, he understands what's happening. But he will not opt for this, but through this process, Parikshit is also glorified. And through this process, Sukadeva was glorified. The teacher is glorified, because the teacher is now convinced that he has passed on the message as it is. And the message is passed as it is, then it has pure and 100% effect. Provided the student is also very elevated. So Parikshit is elevated, and now he must pass the message perfectly. And Parikshit didn't opt for this, because if Parikshit would have opted for this, he would have gone back. That's all. Okay, I have heard Dhruva Maharaj Katha, so now I'll get greatness, I'll get prowess, and I will get adoration. Okay, bye-bye, Sukhdev. It's done. No, it's not done. He didn't talk. He says, Sukhdev, keep on saying, I want to hear about Krishna and pure love and devotion. Whatever this is, let it pass on. I don't care about this. So that is this verse all about. I think these 2 points are there in this verse. I just want to stop here. Is there any questions or comments? Anybody can ask. I'll just finish it. That's all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. I don't have any questions. Is there anybody having any questions for Prabhuji?
Yeah, your voice is very low. I can't hear anything.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, fine. Now it's there. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was on speaker. Prabhuji, I've been thinking about this, we see our material education, especially courses like MBA, where we are taught to gain knowledge and then basically how look at situations and then how to get the best out of that situation, or how to practically apply it, or basically convert it in a situation which is very business minded thinking, right? So take any situation and convert it into a very favorable situation for your own purpose, for your own business. So things like that, and we are always taught even in schools there's practical, there's theory, and then there's practical. But I mean, and then again we hear in spiritual life also we hear these stories, and then we want to understand, we want to apply things. I mean, I'm just trying to understand how to get that. So even courses like Bhakti Shastri, we are taught to understand how to understand this practically, or how to apply this. Basically we are trying to practice.
I understand your question. How to apply it, isn't it? That's the question.
I mean, we are just basically trying to apply. I'm just trying to understand, is it the right way to think about things, spiritual topics?
The point is, if you apply, the result should be there. Otherwise, the application is wrong. So, and what's the result? The result is you should become like them, at least to a certain level. I mean to say, if anybody is applying Prabhupada's message, he should become like him, at least to a certain level. Prabhupada says, become like me, do more than me. So we should get good qualities what Prabhupada had. Otherwise, what's the point of saying we are applying? So the whole point is, the test of application is you become like them. And now, if that's not happening, that we have to go and retrospect what's happening, and then we should be ready to change our ideals, our process, our way of application. We should be ready to do that, because generally we humans have a tendency that whatever we do, we keep on doing, and we are afraid to change our ways. It's general tendency in all of us, and we keep on doing repetitively in spite of not getting any results. Just like, for example, we are chanting, and generally after initiation, 16 rounds, and we keep on repeating 16 rounds, and we don't care what these 16 rounds are doing with me. How do I test that by 16 rounds something is happening with me, or whatever advancement I'm having, it is due to service or chanting or both or reading? I mean to say, whether chanting is having any effect or not, that we have to isolate chanting and see, and so then we have to know what are the specific symptoms of chanting which we will not get from any other limb of devotion. So that is practical application. Application also goes with actually retrospection and introspection of the results. So that's one point we have to keep in mind. Regularly we have to introspect what's happening with us, and then we can redefine or maybe modulate or tweak our application, or maybe discuss with some senior devotee. Hey, my devotee, nothing is happening with me. What's happening? I'm applying, but nothing. Then he will say your application is wrong. So that's one thing. Another thing is application means we have to start doing what they are doing. That needs a lot of courage. In a sense, you see what these great people are doing. It needs a courage, and that's why Krishna says, "Do not fear," because application comes at the level of denying your material needs. Always. That is why Mahaprabhu says, "Vairagya vidya." And to do that, that's difficult. Or application comes in the form of controlling your mind, and that's difficult, isn't it? So when you're applying something and you're not finding it difficult, then there is a problem. Then you're not applying. Because we're trying to transit material platform and go to a spiritual platform, and that needs extraordinary efforts, and there should be difficulty. So these are two things. Difficulty, and then retrospection, introspection. Then we will know. Otherwise everybody can say, or we can say, okay, we are. So we are applying. So anybody can say we are applying. But then what's happening? So, but then this whole. So I mean to say, what is application? That's another topic. What do you mean by applying? And that's a good question you asked, by the way, because I was talking about application, but then that's a good question. What is application? So application can be judged whether we are really applying or we are just saying we are applying. That can be judged by the difficulties, and also by introspection, what's happening with us. And then there are many other things. So that's a different topic. But then the whole point is we have to. So then the whole point is we have to see what is application. That's the whole point. So yeah, I think your question is answered, or what? I don't know. If that was a question, then this is the answer.
Yes, Guruji. Yeah, I mean it does help. I'm just I think I didn't form it very. I mean, yeah, so basically application is retrospection in one sense. And also I was just trying to understand basically like whether this whatever we apply, whatever we learn in the material world, like like just to get things and become selfish, like is that, and like don't try to extract things from the world and use it for our purpose. So, I mean, isn't that the same methodology that we are doing in spiritual life?
Yeah. So all these things you have to retrospect that.
Right.
And things go. Yeah. This is how you have to see what's happening with us. What's happening with us? That's the whole point. We have to regularly examine ourselves. Unexamined life is not worth living. So that's it. And that most of the devotees will not do, because we are in the trap of applying rules and regulations. That's the whole point. Even applying regulations, that's a trap. So we forgot that the whole point of doing that, and we don't then introspect, and then nothing happens, and then I think we're applying, but nothing is happening. So that's how it goes. At least in spiritual life, it goes. This principle also will work in material life. This is a principle. It works everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a question, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada. I heard in one of your lectures about you being Krishna conscious, and the second stage is you know what Krishna thinks, and then the third stage is Krishna you know what Krishna is thinking of you.
Yeah. Right.
So for me, so when you say what you are thinking of Krishna, meaning, oh, is he angry? Like you gave an example of Balaram's story, where the devotees, where the Gopas know that Krishna is hungry, and then they ask for food, not for themselves. Yeah. So how is it, Prabhuji, like practically, if you were to think, do I imagine thinking Krishna is hungry?
No. At our level, thinking of Krishna means thinking of his service. What can I do for God? At our level. At our level, thinking of Krishna means what can I do for Krishna? That is our level, and that is our eligibility and our limit. And rest things will follow. And then the second level is then Krishna conscious means Krishna is thinking of you. So Krishna conscious means at our level.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we cannot hear you. Hare Krishna, can you all hear Prabhuji?
No, we cannot hear Prabhuji.
I think Prabhuji lost. We can wait. He will be connected, I guess.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you call him?
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Prabhuji is getting connected. I think Lalitangi Mataji is connecting.
Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, Lalitangi Mataji.
So Hare Krishna, is it people, devotees are there, or what's happening?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are waiting for you, Prabhuji. We are there.
My internet connection, I don't know, somehow it got messed up. Anyway, I'm back. So anyway, so if devotees are there, well,
currently
so I think
switched off. Please try later.
So your question is answered, isn't it?
Prabhuji, I think you didn't answer the second one. You talked about the service. What service can I do for Krishna is the second stage where you think of it in that level. That is the third one. What is Krishna thinking about me?
Actually, so here, see, what is Krishna thinking about you? You are able to think what Krishna is thinking about you. That we cannot practice now because that's out of our scope. Now that thing, we can simply appreciate that point in the pastimes of Krishna. That's what we have to do, because gopis can understand what gopis can think what Krishna is thinking about them. So that is a point to be appreciated in pastimes. The first 2 points we can practice like that.
So for the third point, I was also thinking, how merciful is Krishna on me? Thinking it in that way in every situation. Is that applicable? For every situation, thinking that it's just the mercy of Krishna that I'm facing such a situation. It's definitely for the good. Thinking of it in that way. And
right. Yeah. At this level, we can do like that. Yeah. Also, yeah, we can do like that. Yeah. How Krishna is. Yeah, fine. Yeah, at our level, we can think like that.
Prabhuji, I appreciate your lecture so much, Prabhuji. There is so much that we gain out of it. Can't describe it in words. Really thankful for that. I totally appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. You are from where, Mataji? Like I can't recognize.
I'm from Sacramento, USA, California.
Oh, you're from California. Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, anybody else?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I need it.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, a couple of points I missed or wasn't clear on. One was when you said that following rules and regulations, they can be a trap or something like that. You were mentioning that in an answer to you. How is that?
Well, sometimes so Krishna says indriyasya indriyarthe rag doisha vyavasthitau tau na vashet agachet. Krishna says, well, you have to get free of attachments, and to get free of attachment there's just one way: follow rules and regulations of scriptures. But the whole point is, then Krishna warns us, tau na vasham agachet. Don't get trapped in even rules and regulations. The whole idea is, after some time we start following rules and regulations mechanically, and we forget the purpose of following rules and regulations.
Yes. Okay.
And then we lose the whole point.
Yeah, you can get attached to the rules for the sake of sense enjoyment, right?
Yeah, right. Then there's a
problem. Okay. And then thank you. And then the other point was, do you remember when you were saying that you were saying something about isolating the chanting to see the effect on our spiritual life, something like that? I mean, it caught my attention because I just finished having a conversation with somebody who was telling me that, the progress that you make in spiritual life can't be pinpointed to just one of the devotional processes. It's like the whole package together that we are engaged in. The hearing, the chanting, the deity worship, the prayers.
Yeah, right.
All these things taken together, all those things taken together is what makes you progress in your spiritual life. Yeah. So we cannot say that, okay, well, because of the chanting that this is happening, or because of this other process this thing is happening. So when you said that we should, I don't know if I heard you properly, but if you said something like, you talked about isolating the effect of chanting.
Yeah, fine. So so I got the point. You see the point. You're right. It's a package, and the package works together. But the whole point is, so like suppose if you want to make pizza. Now, so to make a pizza, you need a base, you need cheese, and you need sauce, and you need vegetables, and you need all these ingredients together. Otherwise, it's not a pizza; it's something else. But at the same time, every ingredient will give a specific taste to that pizza, which will not be given by any other ingredient. So similarly, devotion is a package. And all these things work together, chanting, shravanam, chanting, reading, service. But at the same time, every limb of devotion has a specific result to contribute in that package, which is not given by any other limb. And that we have to identify and isolate. Otherwise, we will never know whether that particular limb is helping me or not. We will never understand.
So how to isolate and determine this?
Well, that's a big topic, and so I think I have to give a lecture on that. That's out of scope of this question.
It's a very fascinating topic. So I wish you would.
Yeah. Do that. Maybe next time.
Because the thing is, if we don't recognize how the different limbs of the package affect our progress, then it's not as easy to be inspired by any one of those limbs.
Yeah, you're right. And then we'll keep on following blindly, and then we don't know what's happening.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So I will do that at your request. Maybe next time. Let's see. I'll ask the coordinators.
Well, I already put in my vote, so let's see what happens. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your class. Thank you always. I also I repeat what previous Mataji said. Love your classes are so relishable and so enlightening. Thank you very much.
I think Prabhuji always. Prabhuji, you always ask the question why we do what we do, which makes it more interesting because I'm not able to attend the live lectures, but I go back to your recordings. Even if it is audio, it's totally fine. But the way you express why we do what we do is something that just benefits us as devotees because
so I think when I'll probably get sannyas, then my name will be Why and What Swami. Maybe.
Prabhuji, it means a lot for us. I had another question. So we talked, in your lectures, you talked about fault finding, and we see some people, devotees or non-devotees, find fault in your acts, and you know it, and you just don't simply care about it. I mean, you said that we should just ignore it because it doesn't have any value. So is that? Do we have anything more to add on that, or just don't give importance to it and think of something higher and move on?
Yeah, well, Number one. I mean to say. So when you see faults of others,
not faults of others. They finding fault on you.
They finding fault on us. Oh, okay. So if they're finding fault on us, then what should we do? Of course, the first thing is ignore. Of course, because we know. Everybody has its habit of fault finding. It's not their fault that they're finding fault, because that is material world. So what do you expect from anybody in the material world? You don't from people in the material world that they will not find faults on that. So the whole point is, if you expect something not be expected, then you will get disturbed. But if you expect something which is to be expected, then you will not get disturbed. Like, for example, suppose if I start a business, with expectation, so I'm starting a business and I'll get a profit. But at the same time, I know, well, okay, fine. Even if I get a loss, and there are chances of loss, no problem. I also expect, 60% chances of win and 40% chances of fail. I know 40% chances of fail, and then when I fail, I will not get disturbed. But if I think my 100% chances of success, and if I'm in my own dream world, and if I fail, I will go mad. So the whole point is here, in this material world, people have this problem of fault finding. We also have. So what do you expect? We expect people to find faults. Okay, fine. If they're finding faults, okay, no problems. Let us think of a solution. And the solution is, okay, then we don't get disturbed. And if we can help them, we can help them. So the first point is our mental setup and our perspective, our expectations from this material. But our expectations are wrong. Why? Because we are not in touch with Krishna. And because we are not in touch with Krishna, we don't understand reality as it is. And we are in a dream world. And when we understand reality, then no problem. We know material world is full of miseries and faults and envy. Fine, but the whole point here is they are devotees, and we don't expect devotees to do these things, to find faults. Now here the problem comes. Ordinary man, okay, fine, but what about devotees? So we don't expect devotees to find faults, but they are finding faults and we get disturbed. But then the whole point is they are practicing devotees. They are not perfect. Who says they are perfect? They also didn't say from their mouth they are perfect. So again, wrong expectation that they are perfect devotees. They're not perfect devotees, they're practicing. So then you expect them to find faults. And then the whole point is disturbance comes when we are thinking about ourselves. Disturbance takes birth from the womb of self, that habit of thinking about yourself. But the whole point is, if we are always thinking about others and stop thinking about yourself, that's very difficult. You need to practice. But that practice comes from thinking about others. When you start thinking about others, you forget about yourself. Now, that's how you do. I mean, so you cannot stop thinking about yourself and then start thinking about others. It doesn't happen. By good thoughts, you get relieved of bad thoughts, a thorn by a thorn. So similarly, by thinking about others, you get over this habit of thinking about yourself. And the more you start thinking about others, that is what is preaching all about. Preaching is not about giving lectures. Preaching about thinking about benefit of others. That is what is all Vaishnava Seva all about, thinking about devotees. That whole mental setup attitude, if we have, then automatically you will not get disturbed. Even if they find faults and this and that, then the more faults they'll find on you, the more you will start thinking, oh, how should I help him? Because you're not thinking about yourself. And then you don't get disturbed. So it's a whole attitude and mental setup. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, and you see the point, Srila Prabhupada, people were finding faults in Srila Prabhupada when the movement began. They were saying he's old, he doesn't know anything. So let's throw him out of ISKCON and let's bring other. So they were planning to bring Bon Maharaj. Things were there, rumors were there, things were there. But Prabhupada knew, okay, fine, people are like that, and I have to help them. So he didn't get really agitated. He didn't get mad. He was very serene, grave, and he encouraged them, and he slowly corrected their mistake. They understood, and then finished. Everything is okay. So that's a whole viewpoint and whole mental setup which will not make us disturbed. That's how it goes. Is it okay for you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay. So
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much once again for the beautiful class and very nice question answer session. Thank you, Mataji, for the beautiful question. It really clarified my doubt too. Thank you so much. Is there anybody having any more questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
say, very nectarian class. And yes, Prabhuji, the question is coming in my mind also, and it's clear, very basic question, and it's clear, very clear, Prabhu. Thank you very much for question answer.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay then, we can hang up here.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you so much. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्दस्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हिज ग्रेस केशवानंद प्रभु जी की जय। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण।